Welcome back, dear viewers. Second round has been played in Kazakhstan, in Karaganda, and let's check the results. Uh, yes, in open section we have the following results. Ansalt Aldiyar drew his game against Ramazan Jalmakhanov. Alisher Suleimanov just ended his game in a draw against Alexander Rakhmanov. Denis Makhnev drew his game against Aristanbek Urazaev. I managed to win my game against Aditya Mittal, and Merwert Kamalidenova drew her game against Vitaly Sivuk. Let's also check the women's tournament. Yes, we see that we have three results. We have Lia Kurmangalieva drew her game against Kulon Claudia. We have Galdarova Matnadze another draw. We have Kayerbekova Sultanbek draw, and still two games are going. Munguntul is playing against Balabaeva. White is close to winning, I would say, with extra 2 pawns. And Elina Danielyan is playing against Yulia Osmak. Yes, should be around equal. Yes, but probably, yes, I think it should be around equal, but maybe White is trying to get some chances. Yes, let's move here and let me start showing my game. So I had white pieces against Aditya Mittal, a very tough opponent, no doubts. So I decided to start with d4 to surprise my opponent, but seems he expected d4. c4 e6, and I played knight f3. Mainly I was expecting knight f6, c4, e6, and here I was thinking about knight f3 or knight c3. Yes, I was thinking about after knight c3, bishop b4 to play a3, to play f3, to play e3. Yes, even queen c2. Yes, in the end I decided to go a3, bishop takes c3, b takes c. Yes, my opponent played d5, c4, e6. I played knight f3 because I was afraid of knight c3, c5. I did not check this opening, these lines, and did not have much knowledge. So I was afraid like c takes d and especially c takes d4 move. So I played knight f3, knight f6, knight c3. Earlier I played against Aditya Mittal g3, where he played d takes c, bishop g2, and knight c6. So knight c3, and here he already played bishop b4, Ragozin, c6, Slav. Yes, did not really expect bishop e7, bishop f4, short castle, e3, c5, d takes c, bishop c5. And here I played queen c2. Another option is of course being c takes d, black takes knight d5, he takes d, and now white has a3 move, or let's say if bishop d3 then bishop b4 comes, if a3 then knight c6, and if bishop d3, bishop b6. So I played queen c2, knight c6, I played a3, and my opponent went quickly rook e8. I was expecting queen a5, and here white has rook d1, and I played this position myself with the black pieces. So rook e8, rook d8, or h6 are the moves. Bishop e7 is another option, and nowadays h6 move is very popular. So my opponent played rook e8, and I didn't know anything properly. So of course black is threatening e5. After the game my opponent said that the strongest is to go long castle. I was also thinking about bishop g5. Eventually I played rook d1, e5. Of course c takes or knight d5 does not really work. I played bishop g5, d4, knight d5, and bishop e7. So now black is threatening to take knight d5, so I took bishop f6, bishop f6. I played bishop d3, g6, and here I went short castle. I was thinking about knight f6, queen takes f6, and let's say short castle. If d takes c, then f takes c, with the ideas to go bishop e4, but I wasn't sure about bishop g4, bishop e4, rook c8, and if h3, then bishop e6, and now e takes d does not really work because of knight d4, rook c4. So that's why I decided to go short castle, and after bishop g7, h3, because here e takes d does not work, there is bishop g4. So I played h3, preparing some e takes d. If d takes c, I can take with the f-pawn, I can also take with the knight. I think white maybe does have some slight pressure. So yes, I was thinking during the game that my opponent most likely will go bishop e6. Yes, if e4 with the ideas to go b4, then a5 comes. So now b4, a takes b, bishop d5 is there, and then knight b4. And let's say if not e4, e takes d, then now black can take bishop d5, c takes d, knight d4. Black can also take knight d4. I don't think white has any problems, but it's like very, very less. Like bishop d5, c takes d, knight d4, e takes d, and game should end in a draw. My opponent here started playing for something more than equality. He went f5. Yes, my idea was to meet f5 with e4. So he could go f4, but he decided to play rook f8. I went rook fe1. Maybe b4 would have been slightly more precise, because after rook e1 my opponent played f4. I don't think he really threatens to take on e4, so I'm not really sure why do I need my rook on e1 when opponent goes f4. If not f4, then always e takes f ideas can be possible. For example, if something like knight e7, then e takes f works. And now I'm threatening to go b4. So f4, I played b4, h5. Yes, I could go h4, but always bishop g4. I was thinking about knight g1, bishop d1, but I don't think I'm having anything more than compensation. So I played b5, knight a5, I pushed c5 and g5. Position became very complicated. Now black is threatening to go g4, and I'm not sure about my decision here going h4, and c6 maybe would have been, let's say, g4. If for example you go c7, queen d6, I'm not sure that knight is doing really great on g5 or on h4. Maybe here this could have been interesting. Let's say c7, queen d6, or even h takes g, and knight h2. g3 does not really work, and yes, during the game I thought this can be very interesting. Yes, I played h4. Of course, if g4, then knight g5 comes. My opponent took. I played c6, and now I'm threatening c7 and knight takes h4. He went h3. If bishop g4, I can even maybe sacrifice the exchange. After c7, knight takes h4, bishop d1, queen, or rook takes d1. So h3, and here I took c takes b7. I could go queen c5. This was my initial thought, but rook f7 is a very good move. Otherwise, I'm threatening to go knight e7, knight takes e5, or knight takes e5, or queen e7, just trading the queens. Yes, but rook f7 is very classy move, stopping all kind of knight e7 checks. and I wasn't sure, like c7, and here queen d7 comes queen g4. Yes, I was thinking something like b6, but knight is going back to c6. So eventually here I decided to take. Of course, if bishop b7, then after g takes h, white should be better. You cannot really take on d5 because all light squares are quite soft. So knight takes b7 was played, and queen c7. Yes, I'm being pawned down, but I ignore my king side. I just want to trade the queens. And for example, if you take h takes g, then here this 97 move even can be very unpleasant, because it doesn't matter how many pawns you are up, you will not, of course, get my king, but positional achievements are very obvious. After the game, my opponent said that rook f7 would have been stronger, like takes, and here I'm having knight g5 for g takes h. You don't have really bishop h3, knight g5 comes. I think white is slightly better. And here I think he blundered, miscalculated maybe. Bishop g4, I took queen b7, and now nothing really works because h takes g, even I can take king g2. If bishop f3, g takes f, this is very important that king just runs to f1 and d2, and my pieces are very well placed. Yes, rook f7. Here I could go queen c6, but I did not play because of king h7, and always opponent has rook c8 options. That's why I played queen a6. And here he played king h7, stopping queen g6. I was choosing here between bishop b2 or bishop f1. Yes, eventually I played bishop f1. If bishop f3, g takes f, queen g5, then I'm having king h1 or king h2. Yes, if now h takes g, then bishop g2 always comes. My opponent played rook d7, another unpleasant move. He is threatening to go rook d6. So I found this rook c1 to mate rook d6 with rook c6. If d3, then I'm taking. Bishop f3, g takes f. So my opponent started with bishop takes f3. I took g takes f. He played rook d6. I played rook c6 and queen h2. Queen h4, I apologize. Yes, unpleasant move. If rook d6, then h2, and king h1, queen f2 comes. Yes, but tactical idea like bishop h3 works. If rook c6, bishop f5 check is there, takes this. My opponent took queen f3 with the queen g4 threat. I played rook g6, stopping all checks along g file. My opponent played d3. Here probably rook g7 also wins, but I did not see anything clear after king h7, but I'm sure this should be winning for white. Yes, I played rook c1. If d2, then rook g7, rook c7 comes. My opponent played rook g8 to stop rook g7 threats. I played rook c7. Now I'm threatening rook h6. He went king h8. Queen d1 does not really work because of king h2. And here I'm sure this also wins, like this, queen f6. I played queen e6, and after d2 you can pause the video, dear viewers, and try to calculate how should white continue. Don't forget that rook h6 ideas aren't working because after bishop h6 it's check. So yes, queen takes g8 takes, and rook takes g7, and my opponent here resigned because if you go king h8, then rook h7, and knight is joining the attack. King f8, rook comes to f7. Yes, very complicated game, no doubts. And let's start checking with the engines. Yes, let's start from this position. I think somewhere queen c2, and my opponent played rook e8. Yes, rook e8. I didn't know much and couldn't really memorize anything. So what engine is telling us? Yes, I could go b4, bishop d6, takes c5. Wow. Bishop g5, I considered. b4, not really. So I played rook d1. Yes, e5. I went. Yes, c takes d, but d takes f, d takes c, and queen goes somewhere. So I played bishop g5, d4. Oh, I did not react well, and my opponent had more than equal position. He was bishop f6, g takes f, knight d4. So knight d5, bishop e7, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6. I played bishop d3, g6, the strongest. Yes, I was considering knight f6, queen f6, bishop e4, bishop g4, short castle, or even short castle. Yes, bishop g4, bishop e4. Black is very slightly better. Queen e7. I thought rook c8 can be an option. Yes, short castle, bishop g7. I played h3. Yes, and here bishop e6. And I was thinking about a takes d to take, and my opponent played f5, but engine does not like it. And here, yes, rook e1 is fine. My opponent pushed f4. I pushed b4, h5, b5, knight a5, c5, g5. Yes, and here c6. And what if g4? We just push h takes c7, knight h4, or c7, knight h4. Did not understand. h4, g4, knight g5, bishop h6. But I saw that c6, bishop g5. Even I saw that I'm having option of going c7. Yes, and this does not work. And again, I could go. Yes, engines are saying that white is completely winning. King h2, bishop e2, c7, queen d7, bishop f1. What about this move, rook f7? I took c takes b, knight b7, and queen c6 I could go. I played queen c7. Yes, and here, let's say queen c7. Yes, but if queen c7 takes knight a6, and I'm having move repetition, or even after knight a6, rook a8, I can go bishop c4, and then king goes somewhere, bishop d5. H takes g I saw. Yes, my opponent played bishop g4, and I took the piece. Rook f7. I played queen a6, king h7. I played bishop f1, rook d7, rook c1, bishop f3, g takes f, rook d6, rook c6, queen h4. Yes, even rook d6 is enough. Bishop h3 is also fine, and position is being completely winning. Yes, knight d7 or rook g5. Rook g7 also works, of course. I played queen e6. And I took queen g8. And I took rook g7. Yes, dear viewers, let's go here. We see that slowly Munguntul increases her advantage, and seems like Elina Danielian's game should end in a draw. And let's see the pairings. Yes. So for the third round, we are having the following pairings. Aristan Bekurazev will face Ansat Aldiyar. Aditya Mittal will play against Denis Makhnev. With the black pieces I'm facing Vitaly Sivuk. Alexander Rakhmanov will play against Mervert Kamalidenova, and Ramazan Jalmakhanov will play Alisher Suleimanov. Let's also see the pairings for women's tournament. And we are having Yulia Osmak against Munguntul, Sultanbek Danielyan, Matnadze Kairbekova, Kulon Kaldarova, and Balabaeva Kurmangalieva. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for your attention. Today's game was, despite engine was showing that I was much better after e4, f4, but over the board it was very scary. Yes, my opponent wanted to go g5, h5, g4, and at least over the board it felt very scary, but not for engines. Thank you very much, and hope to see you very, very soon.